But you guys, before we start, do like and subscribe on the video. And so we have a very special guest today. And you guys know I love the entrepreneurship segments. They're my favorite ones. So I'm going to have her introduce herself to our audience. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Jacquelin Kaiklian. I'm a master prepared registered nurse. I own a med spa. I own a brow studio. I'm a business coach and med spa coach for others that want to grow their business in the same way. I guess that's it. A mother of three. Man, I got a lot of shit going on. I could go on and on just about what I did today.
So let's start with this. How long have you been an entrepreneur? Like around what age?
I started 2019. So I was about 32.
Okay.
35. Shit, I don't know. I was born 1984.
Okay.
We gassed out. There's no gas left today. There's two brain cells and they both fighting for air at this point. We don't do nighttime stuff. I'm sleepy.
Well, with that being said, what an honor to have you. Thank you for coming.
Of course. I honestly was so excited when you asked. I was like,
I just feel like you have just a lot of things to say. You've been doing so. I've been following you since COVID, so I'm pretty sure you've been doing your thing since before that, right?
I actually did. I started 2018 in my son's room. So I had finished my master's degree and I had a crossroads. I was like, do I get another job as a nurse to pay the shit back, or do I start the business that I always wanted to do, which was brows? So I finally did it, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. I kicked my son out of his room because he don't sleep in there no way, and I started backyard boogie brows, like, and the whole idea of like, it needs to be perfect. I had to just like remove that, because if I would have stuck to that, I would have never started. I really would have never started. You know, I had to have the perfect salon, the perfect space, the perfect everything. I was like, nah, we're gonna make this room as beautiful as it can be, and then when I have clients come in, like, don't mind the kids and the dog. This is the way.
Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that a lot of entrepreneurs don't start because they always think it needs to be perfect?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because the way I look at it is like, I tell people perfection is the cousin of procrastination. At the end of the day, they all in the same family of excuses.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to give yourself excuse after excuse after excuse. And to be honest, my only regret about starting a business is that I didn't start sooner, because I wanted to do this 2 years before that. But I had started my master's program. I got pregnant, and.
But do you think with that the timing you started, you were more mentally prepared? Because if you had started early, you think you would have been ready?
I think everything is just divine timing in the way that it should unfold. You know what I mean? Like, so I never fault myself for doing things late or learning things late. It all just kind of divinely falls into place. And being pregnant, a lot of people will hit me up like, oh, I want to take your brow class, but I'm pregnant. And I'm just like, damn, I don't know for me, but like having another mouth to feed, like that should
lit that much harder.
Hell yeah, that should lit a fire in my ass. I'm like, I'm pregnant. I got to pay these student loans back. Like, what am I going to do? So, I just did it.
Did you have support, a good support team around you?
Absolutely. I mean, I always have. So that's, in the course of my life and my story, one thing that I can never waver from is like the support. My family, I mean, I'm Filipino, so we rolled hella deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I was a single mom with my oldest, I always had somebody I got to go to school. Can I drop John off? I got to go to school. Can you watch her? You know what I mean? Like, I always had a trusted person that I could always count on. And even in the start of my business, it was always like a lot of support. I mean, yes, a lot of support. A lot of people be like, why you want to start a business? She already makes 6 figures. Like, why did you want to do that? So there are people that will question you, but it's the way I took it was like out of concern, not malice. Because some people will look at it like, oh, my family's doubting me, and da-da-da. And I'm not saying that there are some hater ass family members out there. But for me, I always in order to not take offense of people, I always ask myself 3 questions. Who are they? Do they mean well? And do they love me? Right? So it's like, if my dad, because my dad was tripping. Like when I finally wanted to leave nursing, he was like, "Are you crazy? Like, why would you do that?" And I was already making like double the amount just doing brows and education. And I was just like, I just don't want to do nursing anymore. And it all kind of like transpired when the company I was working for had me fire a single mom that was going through divorce because of productivity. And I was like, this is not how I want to pay my karma bank. Like, you got me pushing your bottom line. This is something I would never do to another woman. Like, no, I'm out. So they had me let her go, and then I resigned. I was out.
You're like, that's the last person.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like you can't. Just because somebody told you to do it doesn't make it any less off your karma plate. You get me? You're still putting in your karma bank, and at the end of the day, that's still exchanging money for something that you don't want to do, right? And that's what it's like for me. It's like people sell their soul to the devil. Do I think that they actually sign a contract? Probably. I don't know. But even if you're exchanging money, little things that don't align with you, but you still do it, that's you selling your soul.
Your character, your morals.
Yes, because shit,
your core compass.
People will
Where
do
is
all
it?
of that for a paycheck for sure. They will adjust. They will compromise a lot of things for that paycheck.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And she's actually made her platform off of just helping moms, not necessarily all single moms, right? But just like moms.
Yeah.
It just so happens that a lot of us are single.
I do. You know what it is? I do have. I have a mission. You know, whatever you struggled in the most in your life, I feel like that's your divine path to kind of help people through it. You get me? So I have a mission around single mothers. That shit was fucking hard as fuck. And if I had the beauty industry back then, boy, I would have not had to be in Hollywood.
Can you break that down real fast? You said whatever you struggle with most, you feel like that's where your divine path is at, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to get into that too.
Can you break that down a little bit?
Like, okay, so let's say you've been locked up for a lot, like you did a 10 bid, right? You've been locked up. If you get out and you are healing and you are working on yourself, who would be best to help those people that are locked up right now get out, get reformed, get a job, start a business, because they've walked the path. So I feel like your divine purpose lies in the biggest struggle that you've ever had and overcome. Like, that's just how I look at it. So,
But it makes sense.
it does,
Yeah, it
because
does
you're
make
good
sense.
at it. You already did it. You walked the path. You could be the one to help them.
Well, it's like a testimony. So I mean, yeah, that's definitely.
I mean, would you ask a musician how to change a tire?
Absolutely
Probably not.
No.
Okay.
I mean, nah, I'm just kidding.
You might.
yeah, you know what?
Let me get that saxophone real quick. That's looking like a jack.
Stupid.
That's looking like a jack right now.
Well, I mean,
No, I just think there's so much divinity in people and their struggle. And if people could just move away from the idea that this is happening to me and look at it like this is happening for me, then they'll just see so much purpose in the things that they've gone through.
You sound like a woman who really understands not only her purpose, but her place. How did you get to that point to even knowing, like, this is my purpose and this is where I'm going to move in?
Oh, it was my business. Because if I was working 9 to 5 still, I was toxic. When I tell you, I was so toxic.
like me or
working.
toxic like- I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, yes, but also not. Because, like, when I was working 9 to 5, I'd be on the phone gossiping about other people, finding joy in other people's misery. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, just doing shit like that. But once I started my business,
you got time for that shit.
hell the fuck no. I'd rather be on Canva making a damn flyer. Like,
Yeah.
get these brows.
And empathy, right? Too, because like you kind of
Well-
learn, like you go through shit.
I feel like you lose empathy in reality.
Really?
Yeah. 'Cause
No,
you get-
when
you get-
having a business,
I feel like
mean.
I do because
I
the
don't-
thing is I think a lot of people, like, they always want to be feeling and feeling and feeling. Business isn't about feelings.
I
Like,
think it
you just got to
depends.
get shit done.
I think it depends on the type of business you're in. I think that's where it goes, because I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. But my line of business, you deal with people too, but I deal with people on a different level every day. So my job requires me to have empathy for people and see things in people that they might not even see.
Yours
sometimes.
is different. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think it's a line of business you might be in that requires
Yeah.
a level of empathy.
I think outside of that, I think the goal is not, empathy. It's just duality, living in your oneness. Like, if you understand, I think the strongest people in this world are literally people that understand when to pivot between their masculine and feminine energy. Because I could be about that masculine energy all day. Because
Do you think you have to though? Should you have to?
Yeah, when
In
needed.
business.
When needed.
Let them have it, Jackie. They always
Right?
go in on me on this subject.
No, I mean, I think living in your duality is so necessary because even as a man, like my dad, single father, raised 4 girls.
Damn, that was
4
probably
girls,
crazy.
and we all turned out great. You know, I ain't got no daddy issues. I do got mommy issues, but definitely not no daddy issues. You know what I mean? But like, I think for him, he had no choice. He had to understand when to be masculine and when to be in his feminine energy to nurture women, young girls into women. Like, and some of the things that he said was kind of like, you know, crazy, where it's like, one of the first things, there's 3 things he always told me my whole life, and I will never forget them. Nothing in life is free. Everything has a price. You will pay in some way, shape, or form. So I'm always like, what you want from me? Even if it's my energy, that's a commodity. What you want, right? And then another thing that he said was, the moment you walk into a building, always shake everyone's hand, from the person holding the door all the way up to the CEO. That's one thing he always taught me. Be kind to everyone, right? Be fair. Treat everyone the same.
I like this guy already.
He's dope. You love my dad for real. And then the last thing he told me, and I didn't realize what he was doing when he kept saying it, but he always told me, never ask anything of anyone that you cannot buy or get on your own. You can always get it on your own.
That's a good one.
And I literally built my life around a lot of, you know, his teachings in that way. So that was his way of, don't be a gold digger, girl.
Yeah, that last one prevents you from owing people too.
Yes.
It definitely does.
Because I don't like to owe people shit. I don't. That's a trauma response, though. Because, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful. So there's a lot of healing. The reason why, to answer your question, the reason why I feel like I'm a little more in tune with myself is because when I started my business, it just taught me so much about myself. There's nobody else you can blame. There really isn't. Because if your business is failing, you could find somebody to blame. I mean, if you're a professional blamer, you could.
And there's a lot of people that do that too.
Narcissist.
Facts. But then I had got screwed over in the beginning of my business by 2 people that I'd known for a very long time. And I was just like so focused on them. Like, I call everybody like, fuck that bitch. Da, da, da. I call everybody that would listen. And then the second time it happened, I was like, okay, hold up. I am the common denominator in this situation. It keeps happening. Maybe I'm the problem. So when I say that your business is a vessel for healing, it allows you the opportunity to see yourself in real time. Like when people look at their kids, like they're a reflection of you to a degree, but you don't really know how bad you messed up your kids until they need therapy later on, right? Your business, real time. If you are, the way I explain it is like, if you lack boundaries in your personal life,
It's gonna show.
it's gonna show. If you don't understand your worth, you're not gonna want to ask for a deposit. But I promise you, your business is gonna allow you the opportunity to heal from that. You know, I'm not worthy of a deposit after you get no call, no show 3 times. Like, fuck this shit. I'm asking for $50 at least. Like, I'm gonna get something. And even when it comes to like lack of boundaries on your personal side, lack of policies and procedures that are meant to protect you on your business side, it's one and the same. So when you say like, you know, you lack empathy, it's not that you lack empathy, you're just providing yourself an opportunity to heal and set better boundaries, like of the people that you're around. So it depends on who you're exchanging energy with.
This
like
is your therapy, Jacob.
He's like, no, I'm cold as fuck. I don't care.
I mean, I get it.
I honestly just don't give a fuck.
See, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
I just ain't got no fucking feelings.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
like
I'm
in
cool-
the
I'm
line
cool
of
with that.
work.
He said he's cold.
Yeah, like no, like it depends on.
I don't
who
feel bad
you're
about
around.
it at all.
Yeah, and you shouldn't, because it all depends on the type of energy you exchange.
Because he
energy
needs
with.
therapy.
No.
Everybody needs therapy.
Emotional damage.
I love therapy. I be writing shit down. Like when I yell at my kids, I'm like, "Ooh, I better write that down and unpack that later."
I do that too, but I don't always. I sometimes miss my therapy appointments.
Oh,
Damn.
no, I need it.
But
I need it because I lose my
Don't miss
mind.
them.
But
Don't
I
miss
still do like. That's my biggest thing when I go off on like my kids or something, and I'm like, damn, that's like I should have done this differently. Maybe next time I'll communicate that and whatever.
I ain't never been a gentle parent. I don't ever think I'm gonna be that person to be gentle. No, I don't be beating her ass. But like I just don't know
How many kids do you have?
I have 3. I have a 19-year-old. I have a 9. I'm really like fighting for air here with it's my bedtime.
You get a pass.
9, please do. 9 and Riley is 6.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm a baseball mom. I'm the dugout mom, so I have those kids too.
All girls, 2 boys, 1 girl?
I have 2 girls, 1 boy. Boy's the middle.
Okay.
Yes.
So who's the spoiled one who's spoiled out of the 3?
I would say there's this ongoing joke that my 19-year-old is the favorite because she just gets treated differently, but it's because she was my struggle baby. You know what I mean? Like, and
You feel like you owe her.
That. No, I do. But, she'll always be like, Mom, I had a great childhood. And that's the thing. Like, the prayers that I used to pray when I was a broke single mom was like, please, I hope my daughter never be as poor as me. And now that I have a little bit of money, it's like, oh, God, please, I hope I don't raise entitled
But do you think you
children.
were?
You get me? Like,
Do you think you were actually poor? I mean, like in mentally, physically, financially?
Very much financially.
To the standards of people that have 2 parents, probably.
I mean, because oftentimes people feel more rich in what's around them a lot of times, not just a financial aspect, but the support, what's around them.
Rich in love for sure. Rich in support for sure. Financially,
It was a
very
struggle.
much. Because I'm not the type, I don't like the court system, so I would never drag anybody through court.
We need more like you.
I'm not saying that I shouldn't have. That's what I'm not saying. But what I'm saying is, let's be clear. I'm not saying that. But the way I looked at it was when I looked at my baby's dad's life in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That man ain't got no money. Why the fuck am I going to go waste my time, take him to court? And then the off chance that he does get his life together, they're already garnishing his wages at that point. And they took his driver's license. So in my own assessment of my own life, not nobody else's, the way I had to grow up with the judicial system, being in court myself, don't like them, don't trust them. Second of all, I looked at my circumstances with my baby's dad, and he was not in a position to give me money. So why am I going to go? If he had his life together and he was, had all the things, yes, go do that. You know what I mean? But he did not. So for me, it didn't make sense.
Makes sense.
So I had to assess the situation for what it was. And I just did it. And, I watched my dad do it. I watched him do it by himself.
Kudos to your dad, for real, because that right there is amazing. And you said 4 girls?
4 girls.
Yeah, that's
No. Don't kudos
That's
to her
dope.
dad real quick.
Nah, I gotta
Let's talk
kudos to
about what you
dad.
talked about.
I love my dad. Kudos to my dad.
Yes.
Kudos to your dad. But the other day, though, he was trying to say that men cannot tap into their feminine.
No. Let's rephrase.
Okay, yeah.
said,
let
me.
I'm gonna say what I said.
Do it
I'm gonna
for
say
me.
what I
Do it
said.
for
That's
me.
not what you said.
This is my words verbatim. I said because I don't like when it's Mother's Day and or Father's Day and people say Happy Father's Day to the moms out there. I don't like that because me personally, I feel like there's no possible way that a man could take a woman's place in parenting and a woman could take a man's place in parenting. That's what the basis of it was in that aspect. So it's like you can't call a woman a father and you can't call a father
Our mother.
a mother.
And my debate was that you can when you're a mom because you do anything you can for your kids.
In all honesty, me and my sisters bought my dad's gift. But we bought our dad's gift on Mother's Day. And it was always underwear and
Toxic.
socks. Because he had holy underwear. He would just he spent all his money on us, whatever he had. And he just literally had holy underwear.
So
we would get him socks
So with
for
that,
Mother's Day.
everything your dad did for you girls, and I'm pretty sure all of your amazing women right now today because of your father. Do you think there was things that you could have gotten if your mother was present and helping
Absolutely.
out that your father could not give you?
Absolutely.
That's all I was saying.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can
Boom.
never take
That's
Drop
what
the
I
mic.
was saying.
But then think about the little girl that on Mother's Day, everybody making Mother's Day cards for their
mothers.
I have my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, Happy Dad's Day. It's a quick, for me, I'm not the type to harp on what I don't got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I do see that, like, why am I constantly, even on a subconscious level, right? Like me and my therapist, we were talking about it, and my need for titles. I got all the degrees, man. I'm in nurse practitioner school right now, and all these things. And we came to the conclusion that a lot of it had to do with like the way my mom would show me attention. She only validated my existence when I was doing something great.
And you're still in that realm.
And I'm still tied to it because detachment is hard. Detaching yourself from a pain that constantly kind of gets picked at.
You know what's dope about that? Because that's trauma, and that's childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But you were able to take that childhood trauma and apply it to something positive. You're getting degrees. You're getting certain things because of the childhood trauma.
I feel like it's still positive.
That knocks people down.
100.
That childhood trauma, it knocks people down where they can't maintain relationships. They can't maintain friendships. They can't do anything because of the childhood trauma. You took that and spun it into the positive aspect. So I'm gonna go ahead and succeed to a different level. That's dope.
I mean, definitely.
Well, when my boys specifically say, "Mom, don't worry, you're our dad," and I take that and I'm like, "Fuck that, I am. I'm not gonna let somebody like you guys tell me I'm not."
Wait,
Oh, yeah,
what?
I mean, with all due respect,
I got my girl back.
With
So
all due
what's the
respect,
problem,
you guys,
man?
I just don't like arguing.
you guys.
I just don't like
Fuck you
arguing
guys.
with stupid, you know.
wait a minute.
But
Hey, we can get more into that, but we're
on
not.
that segment though, they were
Yes.
kind of going in on me about
Oh,
that.
no,
and
you
I
don't
was
have to
just
invite
like,
me
yo.
back because you don't have to have my girl back on that.
So,
But what we were saying, she can't be a man. She's not a man. She can't be a man.
but I
That's
okay,
just-
but
that's
with
what
my
it is what
kids,
it
I would
is.
try my fucking best.
Yes,
That's what I
absolutely,
said.
and that's the
That's what
thing.
it's about.
That's what it's about. Trying your best to be able to
Yeah,
be
that's
all
the
the things.
best
that
mom
your
you could be or
children
the
you need
best
to be.
dad you could
that
be.
anything,
That's what it comes down to.
Whatever it is, because listen, like I am not athletic. I ain't got my mail in motherfucking a week and a half. But when my kids are out there playing baseball, I'm in there in the trenches, throwing them balls, catching the ball. Like we're doing the most. Am I athletic? No, but I'm always rise to the occasion, and that's the thing about women. In our own divinity,
They show up.
we will do. We might not ever get to do what we want to do, but we were always going to do what we got to do. Period. And that's what it's like. So when it's like, oh, I'm trying to be a dad, I'm not trying to be a dad. I'm just trying to be everything that my child needs me to be in that moment.
And when it calls for that, well, fuck it. I'm gonna
And
try.
that's why
we're
and that's why my
always gonna
response
try.
and that's why my response in that moment was
Whatever.
you're an amazing mother. And no one can take that from you. That's what you
We
are
gonna
for
fight
sure. No. I said it for sure. I said you are an amazing mother, and that's to the mothers out there in general. And
You ain't a
nobody can
dad.
take that. Nobody can take that from them at all.
Absolutely
Never
not.
ever. But it's just we can't fill the voice on the opposite side. Me nor the other. It just doesn't happen.
can't.
Yeah.
But
That's all it
this
was.
is the thing. When this is something my daughter told me, and it kind of shook me, man. It really did, because with that in mind, right? I have told myself like, she don't need a dad. I have said that in my mind. She don't need him. I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
You never told her that though, right?
Oh hell no.
Okay.
I never even talked shit about David to her because there's
name dropping.
I love my BD. Honestly, me and him are like, we're cool. He's my
Okay.
continuation school sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? Like, went to continuation school together. But one of the things, right? So I have told myself in those moments of like hardship, I'm like, she don't need him. I'm gonna do it. And it's usually like if she's crying over him, she doesn't need him. That's when I get triggered. Like
That hurts.
Yes, because it's painful to watch that. So it's not like single moms are out here trying to be single moms, and we're not out here trying to be the dad. But in the moments that we see our children in pain,
You got to
over
fill
the
that void the best you can.
You're like, she don't need it. I'm gonna be the dad.
Yeah.
So in my goal to be both in this situation, fast forward 2 years ago, Gianna goes, Mom, I think you should cry in front of the younger kids. And I said, what the hell? I said, I cry in the shower like all the other normal people in the world. And she's like, no, Mom, for real. She's like, because growing up, I never, ever saw you cry. And now I have a hard time showing my emotions. That shit broke me because,
Wow.
yeah, dude.
And you said she's how old? 19?
Oh, she's like
That's
me,
crazy.
2.5. I love it. She's like the best version.
That's a different level of maturity.
Oh no.
That's a
Let me.
different level.
I wait till I talk about her because I'm so proud of her. But in that moment, right, I had to apologize. I said, Gianna, I'm so sorry that you never saw me cry. I just thought that you needed me to be so strong. So in my quest, I'm gonna be the strongest mom. She's gonna see that she doesn't need anybody. I'm gonna be so strong. what I forgot to show her is that it's okay to be vulnerable too. It's okay to be soft, right? Like you don't gotta be so hard. You could be soft in this quest.
People
to
frown
be,
on being vulnerable. They frown on it.
But you know what? Again, if you could realize that being vulnerable requires strength like no other, because one, when you're vulnerable, you're living in your truest self.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you could pull yourself out of that and go back to a balance of peace, you know how hard it is to pull yourself out of being in the mud?
Yep.
It's hard. So if you can be vulnerable, be sad, share your most authentic thoughts, and still come out like, I'm still me. That's so much power in that. So it's like, I don't know, when people frown on feelings, I'm like,
Therapy.
red flag.
Put them all on the table. It's dope because you speak with confidence, you speak with professionalism, but you come from a place of, it's like you know, but you still want to know more.
Oh yeah, I'm a forever student.
It's dope.
There's no, I don't know. I'm constantly learning. I'm never ever gonna be fully healed. It's all about everything.
Constant growth.
How do you feel
Everything.
about the chats that you've been having with ChatGPT?
Oh, I love him. If I could marry him,
You
I'd
made
miss
me
ChatGPT.
you made me run to my son and tell him like how you were talking about the boys that are raised by moms and how like it's a superpower, to be like, well, in
I mean,
that
like,
sense,
yes.
my son needed to hear that, so I ran to him and I told him. But
I mean,
tell us
I
a little
think
more about that.
single parents, whether they're a single mom or dad, they're kind of right there in that duality space of having to understand their oneness. And I think it's so crazy that society has us believing like you should only be a man, never cry, and girls should be taken care of or whatever. It's like, man,
That's weak. That's horrible.
it's terrible because like we were created from a man and a woman, so automatically you
should
have
have both.
masculine and feminine energy united to make you. So when you can master both, bruh, you just
It's
so
frowned
strong.
upon. It's frowned upon for a man to show his emotions. It's frowned upon for a man to be vulnerable and showcase those things. And it's frowned upon for a woman to have to showcase that strength at times too.
Definitely. But then that's why I invite myself into circles that don't frown upon me. Because that is me. You know what I mean? Like I'm so mindful of my energy and the people I exchange it with that I just would never be in a situation where people would frown upon my thoughts and who I think I am and who I represent as a person.
You got to have a dope friend circle.
There
It's
you
like
go,
no
girl.
judgment.
Oh, girl.
That shit is dope.
Oh,
Because
no.
you're protecting that. It's like it's like a little treasure.
I mean, energy is treasure, right? Everybody thinks like, I don't know. Back in the day, I would literally exchange energy with anybody. Like, anybody. And I'm talking about, oh, you want to fight over this parking spot at Ontario Mills? Let's get into it, girl. And it's like, you're calling me a bitch? Cool. I don't like my... And that's when I look at it now. Like, I used to be like, what's up? I'll exchange energy. Let's go. And now I'm like, first of all, no. Because when you exchange energy with people that are not on the same energy frequency, what happens is it takes you 3 days to get back to where you were, right? But more importantly, what I realized is I really didn't like myself. I didn't like myself at all back in the day. When I would fight with people and like argue with people, talk shit about people, I did not like myself. So responding out of love for myself, that was new. Walking away from a fight so I could respond out of love for myself is new, right? I don't have to tell you off. Because at the end of the day, when people are being mean, what I tell myself is like, you can always tell how happy a person is by the way they treat other people. Happy people just don't walk around acting like that. Like, So when I get trolls, I'm like, oh, it's so telling. Like, are you okay? Do you need a hug?
Yeah, those trolls are having a shitty life because they shouldn't even be doing that anyway.
I mean, how happy is a person if they have to be online just seeing all the bad things? Because this is how I look at it. Me and that one person could be looking at the same picture. But if my mindset is on positive, then I am automatically going to see everything that I like about this painting. If they don't like themselves, they don't like their lives, they're going to focus on like, oh, look at that bark and how it's painted. It's like this dooky brown. And I'm like, oh my God, look at those beautiful flowers. It's mindset, it's perspective. It's the way me and you could be looking at the same fucking painting. But if I am on my healing and I'm aware and I like myself and I'm starting to grow into this person where I've forgiven myself for the mistakes that I've made and all those things, and this person is just like, everybody sucks, they fucked me over, like, it's not me, it's them. They're gonna see everything that they hate because
We live in a society of broken people. That's what we live in right now. Everybody's broken, and no one wants to be fixed, repaired. Nobody does.
well,
I like to just ignore those people and stay away from them. To be honest,
I stay away from
I ain't
all the
letting
way.
nobody interrupt my peace. Like they can kick rocks. That's how I look at it. Like if they're here to try to interrupt my peace, I won't even. It's real easy just to cut them off.
Yeah. But that's also a trauma response. Because me, I used to
Oh,
flex.
yeah, he's got a lot of
I
traumas.
don't think so at all. I don't
used
think
to
so.
Jacob
flex.
needs therapy.
No,
extremely.
No,
I used to
how? If you
flex
want to
so
stay
bad about it.
peaceful and you don't want to deal with
Yes.
people like that, it's real simple for me. And,
It's
and you know what's even
eventually
crazy?
You gotta learn to work through
No,
it.
no, no.
Not
Even-
just
It just
cut it
depends.
out.
It's even biblical. So I mean, I look at that as it is what it is. Like I feel so much better cutting people off. Like I feel like cool. Now I don't got to deal with that bullshit no more.
There's
Cut
two
'em off,
sides.
boom.
There's two sides of that, in my personal opinion, because there's people who are that way, that are very toxic and have the trauma that they deal with,
That
and
part.
sometimes there were some of us who were in people's lives to help them. And if we're so quick to cut people off, your job might have been to help them in that moment where they needed you personally.
Yeah, but you can.
So-
I get that. Now you can do that only for so long.
Yes.
Once that bullshit
Agreed.
keeps going,
Agreed.
like it's kick
Agreed.
rocks. That's
Yeah,
all.
so
look
I mean,
at
but
it.
it's a fine line. I'm trying to balance and find out where's
Yeah.
that, because once
And I
you
feel
know,
like I got a fine line for that.
once you know who you
It's
are,
a fine line. You piss me off,
Yeah.
bye.
It's like, hey, I gave you enough chances, dude. It's time for you to go.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to.
it adjusts once you realize who you are and what your purpose is.
Yeah.
Then those things kind of adjust and they'll play out the way they got
but
to.
like it's sad to say, but some people got no hope. Like they're fucked.
I mean, there really
So-
are, and they're called NPCs. They're NPCs. There are real NPCs walking
there
this
is.
That's
planet.
crazy
Yeah.
how it's
I get
true.
that. But this is my thing when I say it's a trauma, I'm talking about myself,
Uh-huh.
where my fear of being abandoned by my mommy issues, right? Let's be clear. When you've been abandoned, a part of you would rather leave first
Mhm.
before feeling getting left again.
Yeah.
So through therapy, again, I realized I have the tough conversations. Is this relationship something you want to fix, or is this are you walking away out of fear? So that's another thing I always implement in my life. Like I never make choices out of fear. I never leave situations out of fear. I always leave with faith.
Well, what about? I would look at it as: is this person interrupting my peace? And to the point where there's no good communication. So if they're interrupting friends, relationship, whatever it is, I feel like if they interrupt your peace and you give them enough chances, they got to go.
Okay.
Well, my first
You know
thing
what I'm
is
saying?
always like I assess like on your journey for peace, you cannot fuck with people who are at war with themselves.
most times it's about them anyways. It's not even about you most of the time.
Exactly. So before we even go there, before we even get to the point where I'm doing favors for you, I'm assessing. I'm assessing how far are
Well,
you
sure.
at war with yourself. I can't help you. And it's not that I don't want to or the willingness is not there. I don't want to be a casualty of your war. And as a woman, I feel like we were always taught to put other people ahead of ourselves all the time.
Because you women are nurturers. That's why.
Absolutely. But you know what? We're not doing that no more. It's 2025. We are on some champagne tower energy. I'm going to be at the top of this champagne tower. I'm going to pour love, healing, grace, understanding onto myself, and may it overfloweth on everything that I love.
Okay.
You get me? Like, it's just naturally going to do that because if you are as whole and as at peace as you can be as a woman, you will just be that amplified nurturer. Everything you touch will grow exponentially, like with love and intention versus like, okay, I got a little bit to give you today. A little bit. And that just, it starts with grace. I think we were taught to pour into other people. And then on the flip side, we never learned how to show ourselves grace. So in the moments where I'm like, I'm exhausted, I don't even say that's not the sentence. I always start my sentences with, of course I'm exhausted. I have 3 businesses, I have 3 kids, I talked to 4 patients today, and you know what I mean? So just by starting my sentences with of course, and then never ending my sentences with a problem, never a complaint. So it's like, I'm gonna go, instead of saying I'm exhausted and just putting out a complaint, I started with, of course, I'm exhausted. Then I list all the things of why I'm exhausted. Then I'll say, I'm going to go to sleep early, or I'm going to watch a movie and start my day early.
Well, going back to business a little bit, because I wanted to ask you this question. I want to see your perspective on this. So what is a leader to you?
A leader to me is somebody that could put another person in a position to make money too. That's a real ass leader. Because you could be the boss and yes, all the things, right? But for me, it's like that is my highest excitement. When I'm helping other women grow their business, and we always have a saying in the group. It's like, close them. I'm a closer. I'll close any fucking
Do you ever have guys that take your classes and your courses?
I do. I have 2 mentees right now. One is a brow artist and one is a videographer. And he was trying to hit 10K for 3 years in his business. And 1 month working with me, he made 12.
You do videography too?
No.
Oh, okay.
But transferable.
Business. It's just business.
Yeah,
It's business. Okay, okay.
Transferable knowledge in terms of like social media, utilizing social media, how to leverage, how to create offers, pitches, how to close.
The guy that made 12K, how did he do that?
By understanding his offers. Everybody want a business, but nobody has a pitch. Nobody has an offer. Because if Jay-Z were in an elevator with you, it'd be like, I got $200K to give you right now. Tell me about your business. Or like, I would like to invest. So a lot of the framework that we do is, number 1, healing and hustling. That is the motto. You cannot. I could teach you how to make 6 figures, but if you don't like yourself, then what's the fucking point? Like, because at the end of the day, it's always like, I want to leave my terrible boss. I don't want to work 9 to 5 anymore. But then you're not healing, and now guess who's the terrible boss? You. You are the one taking time away from your kids, and what you're telling because this is me. I was the one that did this to myself. I became my own terrible boss. I started missing baseball games because I'm telling myself, it's for them, it's for them. No, it's not. It's for the 8-year-old me that did not have anything to eat. You know what I mean? That never had shit that matched in the kitchen. So
see, I love that because I believe, and that took me a while actually. I believe success is spending time with your kids, not missing all that stuff. I don't miss nothing. The days I have my kids, I'm 100% focused on them. So I believe that when you have your kids, like you need to be attention to them. So like if I don't care what's going on, I drop it. I don't care how important it looks. When I'm on my deathbed, I'm not gonna be thinking, oh damn, I should have closed that deal.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking I should have went to that fucking game. I should have went and been there for them. Like even today, I had to go to my daughter's recital. And she's like, you better be there. But she knows I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm at every single one. You know what I mean? But that is true success because all this other shit is going to burn one day anyways.
Yeah, 100%. And, for me, like, my goal, it started, it's like a movie, right? Every movie's like humble beginnings, and then they meet a little bit of success, and then they're tempted. They're fucked. Now they hit a crossroads where they're, like, starting to do, it's the downfall moment of the movie. I've hit that. And for me, it changed when my goal was to stop making an impact and to hit 100K. And yeah, I've always been able to hit any goal I've ever had. But the moment I switched it to 100K, I was hitting 100K months in, what year was that? 2021. And after like 4 months of it, I was like, oh my God, who am I? Who the fuck am I? I'm doing shit that I'm missing my kids' stuff. I'm fucking doing the absolute most while doing the least. How fucking sad. All for 100K. And that's why I tell people, like, it's not even worth it, bro. Because these people that are, like, on the internet, like, you can make 100K. They're not telling you what the fuck the mental health side of that is. I'll take my cool, consistent, sustainable business money and have my time with my kids and still be the cool mom.
Because you're going to make your money.
Absolutely.
You're going to make it still. Like it's gonna happen. What's meant is what's meant, and you're still putting that time in. You're still pushing, but when it's time for your kids, it's time for your kids.
Absolutely.
It just
but
is
you will
what
get
it
lost
is.
in the sauce. You,
Oh yeah, you will.
You can and you
For
will.
sure,
If
easily
you are
too.
not healing, and the problem with that whole 100K getting that money like that, right? Is I did not heal. Broke Jackie, little kid Jackie that never got to go to Disneyland with the cousins because we were the poor cousins, and then the healing part of like 20-year-old Jackie that didn't. So having all this money and being able to walk into a luxury store and not even look at your bank account, you're like, I want that, I want that. That's healing. You have to heal from your poverty trauma, your lack mentality, because now I would have been like, fuck, I could have bought a goddamn duplex in Arkansas with that shit, you know? And I'm like, you don't need the Range Rover, girls. Please do not buy it.
Where your business is located at?
Anaheim. We're moving to hopefully Cypress, one park area, but currently we're in Anaheim.
Okay.
You're moving the whole location, or you're gonna have multiple locations?
I'm moving the whole location because I swear it just got real rough. There was a blow up doll outside of my damn salon the other day. I was like, what the hell is this?
Oh wow.
No way.
I was like, hope you had fun. That looks weird.
Oof, that's crazy.
So one of the main reasons why when I started following you, what caught my attention was that I come from a generation of, first generation Mexican Americans where my mom she had her own business. She had a beauty salon. She was able to buy a house, but she didn't know about finances. So she she doesn't have it anymore. So when I started seeing your content and how you're teaching us how to not just make money, but pass it down to your kids. Absolutely. And how to make them into the owners and how to, pass that down. I feel like that was bridging a huge gap in financial education for those of us who grew up on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, even with me, right? When there's a saying that if the grandparents are rich, the grandchildren will suffer, right? Because it skips a generation. So for me, I take that as even if I were to grow my business to be a multi-million-dollar business, right? And I didn't take the time to teach my kids financial literacy, understanding how to move money, stocks, all the things, my grandkids will suffer. Because then they're just entitled. They got all the money. They don't have to do nothing. So when it comes to Gianna,
That's very good thinking. I like the way
Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
so
100%, yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to be spoiled. They're not going to know anything. They're not going to know how to move money. They're not going to learn how to make more money from money.
I have my 15-year-old in a financial literacy class right now.
Absolutely.
He's learning how to do taxes and everything right now.
I mean,
he's excited about
that's
it.
the code. For me, it's when people are like, they didn't teach us this in school. Of course not.
Yeah.
School was not intended for us to be
entrepreneurs.
It was intended for us to be
sheep.
There's an
employees.
entrepreneur high school now out here.
That's dope. Whenever I get asked to speak at schools, I always go.
Let's read the chat. We got people in the chat. I didn't even feel we got we went way far in this thing already. That's crazy.
Where's the chat at? Hold on, let me find it first.
You got your fans
Show
in
chat.
there. You got your fans in there.
Found it.
Oh shit! I think that's
so. Real quick before I read the chat though, so isn't it cool that you got to show us all that you can not just write it, but you showed it with your daughter? You showed it with her.
There was a reel, and it really just resonated with me. It said, everything you learn late in life, teach your kids early. And I said, fucking bet. So Gianna wanted to start her own nail business. And I get it. You have to, she's 19. She just graduated nails, but she's been learning nails since she was 14. And in this quest of me growing my business, my whole life, I'm like, I want to give my kids the life I never had. That's always what I told myself. But as I evolved into a different person and an entrepreneur, what I found was I just want to give them choices. I just want to give them more choices to do what aligns with them. And when I think of alignment and living in your truest path, I think of that movie Soul, where he's playing the piano and he's uplifted into this space of clarity and peace. That's what it's like for me when I'm doing brows, because I'm just vibing with my clients, listening to music, just in my vibe. And it's in those moments that I actually have my best ideas when I'm like, have that sense of peace and clarity.
That's dope. That's your
know?
piece right there, then.
Yeah, same thing for my daughter. So now she's like 18. She's 19 years old. When she was 18, she made $70K. I ain't touched that kind of money. So I was like a new grad nurse.
Damn.
Yeah, saving money. She wants to open her own salon. I'm like, go save your money. Just stay with me. Stay with me,
That's
please.
another thing that parents don't do. Parents be ready to kick their kids out at 18.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
mine's
And
too.
I hate that. I hate that.
I know. I don't want my kids leaving either.
These kids
I'm like,
aren't.
stay here, please.
I'm like, stay here.
They're not
forever.
prepared
I
for
love you.
anything at 18 years old.
Nah.
They're not prepared for nothing in the world at 18. So why would you put them out?
Yeah, no, I would never. And you know, for Gianna, I try my best not to ask her to take care of her siblings. I try because I don't want that. Please just live your most 19-year-old life. So
Yep.
she's like going to Hawaii. She went to Vancouver. Every month she's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yes,
That's dope.
please do that, you know? I don't pay for it. So I'm like, she brings me home a magnet every time. She sends me a postcard
magnet.
from where she's at. It's so cute, but it's like, I love that for her.
And you've instilled that into her. It's amazing.
I mean, the best I could, you know,
It's
I know
working.
what I got.
It's,
See, like with
it's
me,
showing.
with me, I'm a single mom of 3, and my oldest is 15. And I'm not even gonna lie. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here right now at this very moment because
that's
she's
how I
holding
feel.
down the fort.
how I
So
feel.
I love my daughter for that.
Oh, yeah. Gianna's watching with the kids right now.
Yes.
Let's be clear. Shit. It's not that I don't ask. I do
All right,
be
let's read
asking.
the chat.
Yeah.
All right, so the A Sweet Life podcast says Bam Bam in the building.
That's my...
If you know, you know who she
yeah,
is.
that's my old go-go name. I was go-go
okay.
dancer in Hollywood.
Okay, and then we got Howls over Baaz. Make sure y'all drop a like. You guys, if you're watching, please drop a like.
Yeah, like. And
Thank you, like and
subscribe.
subscribe. And then we have No Remorse. Haha. No Remorse again. Banging. Banging. Is she Korean?
I'm Filipino.
Filipino. Yes. And Saint John's Gaming, the brain and the fire emoji. We got Black Cup TV. This is dope with the gems. Lost Souls TV 100. And No Remorse. Nowadays, even 100K ain't shit in Cali. Feel
Oh,
me?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. St. John's for real
I mean,
though.
it's still a lot, guys. Don't get it fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
there's people out there that make
People are doing good.
35K
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
don't let money be the motivation because,
Don't let the internet fool you.
yeah, don't.
Shit.
You don't need 100K to be happy. I promise
Because
you.
you don't need a Louis bag.
You don't even understand.
You really don't.
And you don't
guys.
understand the problems that come with this shit.
Bro,
like,
no,
are you
real
built? Are you
talk.
built for this shit? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, are
No.
you really?
It's gonna cost, like my dad always said, nothing in life is free. Everything has a
Yeah,
You're
and
gonna
you-
pay a lot for that 100K, guys.
Yeah.
Don't.
Your mind.
the internet fool you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know people that are making one of my friends made $1 million off a drop. But now I look and I'm like, you look stressed and pressed, bruh. I'm like,
You know,
I'm okay.
is there anything you want to say to the audience? Anything? I mean, talking about from business to inspiring to dropping your link, whatever. Is there anything you want to tell the audience?
Whatever business you want to start, do it. Because people out here pay. Like, they pray every day to God. God, please, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And then he drops this idea in their brain and they're like, fuck that, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That's divine. Any message you get is from somebody that cares. So when you have an idea, run it. Run it with your whole heart. But, you know, don't be scared to do it. Because we all out here, everybody that owns a business, we all did it scared.
Yes.
And didn't know shit. So
Scared,
just go.
freaked out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, for real.
But it takes a lot of courage. So
It does. It
step
does.
into it. Step into your power.
But once you do it, you can never go back.
Man, ain't no way.
There's no way. You
Even
see
when
too
it was
much.
slow.
Yeah.
When it was slow, I was like, man, should I go back to nursing? And then I sat with myself and I was like, if I went live for 12 hours and ran a webinar, I'll make my whole nursing monthly salary in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Just running a webinar play or like a lives or a 3-day challenge, man. No, it's
Well,
no.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. Killed it today.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for having me.
Our
Appreciate
slogan.
you.
Our
All right,
slogan
our slogan is Shed the Sheep. We're going to look at the camera and say Shed the Sheep.
on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shed
Shed
the
the
sheep.
sheep. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
This is ambition.
Cat baby.
And go ahead.
Jacquelin Kaiklian, Brow Baddie.
And we appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. And we are out. Peace.
Yay!